People saying it's get back. People saying a bunch of
That
things
shit
going on.
good.
People saying all kinds of things behind the scenes. But let's slow it down and really talk about what went down. Do you remember that moment when Los Angeles froze? The day Nipsey Hussle's name became both a legend and a curse? His face was on every mural, his words echoed in every block, and the city swore it would never forget. But years later, the streets are whispering again. This time, it's about Big U's son lying cold on the pavement, and his killer saying, "I did it for Nipsey." But here's the twist. What if this wasn't revenge at all? What if this was the final play in a decade-long betrayal that's been boiling underneath the surface? The tragedy, the confession, the whispers. Halloween night in South Los Angeles wasn't supposed to end in blood. But around 11 p.m., under the sickly orange haze of streetlights near West 69th and South Figueroa, chaos erupted. Gunfire ripped through the night. Witnesses said it happened too fast to even duck. Just a burst of shots, then silence. Jabari Baby Uiie Henley, the 34-year-old son of LA's own Eugene Big U Henley, was left motionless outside a smoke shop. Multiple gunshots tore through him at close range. When paramedics rushed in, it was already too late. He was gone before the ambulance doors even closed. The coroner confirmed what everyone feared. Multiple gunshot wounds. Homicide.
He was super cool, bro. Hilarious and just had good vibes. Unfortunately, his son got shot and killed outside a smoke shop in the Hoover territory.
Cops tried to resuscitate him, but nothing worked. The LAPD called it a targeted hit, but wouldn't name suspects or speak on motive. And that silence? It lit social media on fire. On No Jumper, the host spoke in shock, saying how unreal it felt to lose someone tied so deeply to LA's soul. This wasn't just another death. It was a blow to the city's history. And the craziest part? Big U himself, one of the most powerful, feared, and respected figures in South Central, was locked up on federal RICO charges when the news hit him. The timing was almost cruel. His empire was already under a microscope. His name dragged through headlines, and now his son was gone. A man who once ruled these blocks was watching his world collapse piece by piece from behind bars. That corner, 69th and Fig, isn't just another intersection. To outsiders, it's a stretch of cracked pavement and flickering lights. But to locals, it's the Blade, a zone famous for its mix of hustlers, night traffic, and sudden violence. That's where Jabari's story ended. Reports say the hit happened outside the Sunset Smoke Shop, directly across from a liquor store. Witnesses described a dark vehicle creeping up, the driver calling Jabari by name before unloading shots from the window and speeding off. That's how personal it was. Investigators pieced it together quick. It wasn't random, it was planned. The city's homicide map already looked like a war zone, but this killing hit different. A community leader said, "That corner is the most popping street on the Blade, meaning danger is never far." And sadly, no one in the area was surprised. Shootings had been popping off for weeks within the same few blocks. Gang intervention teams kept warning city officials about the growing heat, but nobody listened until it was too late.
That whole down to, like, you feel me, to the 60s, where unfortunately, I think this was at like 67th and Fig.
It said 69.
69, okay.
So who was Jabari Baby Uiie Henley really? Born in 1991, he wasn't just another name in the streets. He was legacy. The son of a man who once ran South Central like a chessboard, and whose name still commands fear and respect across Los Angeles. And now his death has reopened every old wound, every buried secret, and every rivalry that never truly died. Jabari Henley grew up in the shadow of one of Los Angeles' most controversial and powerful men. His father, Big U, a man whose name carried both fear and fame from Crenshaw to Hollywood. Big U wasn't just some local figure. He was a former Rollin' 60s Crip shot caller turned music executive, credited with helping launch the early careers of icons like Nipsey Hussle, Corrupt, and even Ice Cube. But being the son of a legend like that, it came with pressure, enemies, and expectations that could crush anyone. Jabari, better known as Baby Uiie, tried to walk that same path, but carve his own lane at the same time. He wasn't just living off his father's name, he was building his own brand, running Unique Records, the same label Big U once used to push Nipsey's early music. Jabari was hustling to prove himself in the business world. Friends described him as disciplined, charming, and naturally magnetic. The kind of guy who could make a whole room laugh, then turn around and close a deal. Still, those same friends admitted he couldn't fully let go of the streets that raised him. People close to him said he was torn between two worlds: the legit music business his father claimed to represent, and the street legacy that still pulsed through his bloodline. According to Fox LA, Jabari had been working to clean up Unique Records' image after earlier investigations tied it to gang-related activity. But in Los Angeles, your past never really disappears. It just hides behind new suits and Instagram posts. Back in 2021, his name surfaced again when police listed him as a person of interest in the Las Vegas murder of rapper Rayon Lil R.W. Williams, whose body was later discovered in the desert. Jabari was never charged, but when Big U got federally indicted in 2025, that case came back into the spotlight like a ghost that refused to die. Even so, Jabari's peers swore he was changing his life. His social media showed a man trying to elevate, not fall back. After his death, tributes poured in from musicians, producers, and community leaders who called him a bridge between the old LA and the new.
You could look up all the murders in Los Angeles, that there's certain places right now that are not cool to hang out with out here. These places are hot.
His younger brother, Dion Henley, now an NFL linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers, got the devastating news during a game. Just hours later, he posted a gut-wrenching tribute. 2025 has brought me more pain than joy. I'ma make sure we straight, big bro. I got nephew, don't even worry about it. I love you. Allah bless me with even one more night with my big brother. You forever, we. That post went viral instantly. Fans, athletes, and rappers all flooded the comments with heartbreak and disbelief. It was a painful contrast. Two brothers from the same home, raised by the same man, yet their lives couldn't have been more different. Dion made it out through sports, through discipline, through focus. Jabari tried the same, but the streets had a grip on him too strong to fully escape. Their story became a reflection of South Central itself. Two paths, one dream, divided by survival. Inside the Metropolitan Detention Center, Big U got the call that shattered him. Fellow inmate and music producer Loose Cannon told TMZ the old gang boss was devastated. Even behind bars, that pain echoed through LA. Some blogs called it poetic justice. Others screamed revenge. Hashtags like the Ticho for Nipsey started trending online, hinting that this was karma for old betrayals. Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok exploded with conspiracies. Some users claimed die-hard Nipsey fans plotted payback. Others thought rival sets used Big U's incarceration as an open shot to hit where it hurt most, his bloodline. Law enforcement, though, didn't confirm any of it. According to the LAPD, the city's gang-related homicides had already spiked by 34% that year. A deadly mix of online beefs, territorial clashes, and retaliation spirals. But this hit was personal, and LA could feel it vibrating through every block. And while investigators blamed gang violence, turf wars, and post-pandemic poverty for the city's chaos, those who truly knew the Henleys said this hit felt way deeper than that. It was personal. The pain in South Central wasn't just about another shooting. It was about history, betrayal, and ghosts that never stopped haunting Los Angeles. Detectives told the public to be patient. No suspects yet, no motive confirmed. But the whispers were growing louder by the hour. People started saying Jabari's killer had ties to Nipsey Hussle's circle. Some swore they heard he did it for Nipsey. At first, it sounded like another wild street rumor, until that very whisper turned into a full-blown courtroom confession that stunned the entire city. The killer's apology. I did it for Nipsey. On the morning of November 7th, 2025, barely a week after Jabari, Baby Uiie, Henley was gunned down. Los Angeles woke up to a headline that stopped everyone in their tracks. Big U's son's suspected killer arrested. Confession shocks courtroom. According to ABC7's police bulletin, LAPD's Southeast Division, alongside the Gang and Narcotics Unit, detained 27-year-old Deshaun Lil Price Walters after a routine traffic stop in Compton. Officers noticed his gray Dodge Charger matched the Bolo description from the shooting. But when they searched the car, what they found was chilling. A Glock 17 with its serial number scratched off, matching the shell casings collected outside the Sunset Smoke Shop where Jabari's life ended. But it wasn't just the gun that made headlines, it was what came out of his mouth. When officers read him his Miranda rights, Walters didn't stay silent. He allegedly muttered the words, "I did it for Nipsey." And just like that, everything exploded. Months later, on February 21st, 2026, the Los Angeles Superior Court was packed to the walls for sentencing. Walters had been convicted of first-degree murder. The crowd was tense, a mix of rappers, activists, media, and family. Big U appeared from behind bars via a live video feed, his face stone cold and unreadable. When it was his turn to speak, Walters finally broke his silence. Gripping the podium with trembling hands, his voice cracked as he addressed the court. According to the Los Angeles Times transcript, he said, "I know what I did was wrong. I know I took a life, and I know his family's hurting. But I need everyone to understand, I did it for Nipsey. Big U took someone we all loved, someone who gave us hope, someone who tried to lift us up. And his son Jabari, he carried that same name, that same energy. I thought I was bringing justice, but now I see I was wrong. I became the same thing I hated. The courtroom exploded. Gasps, screams, chaos. Jabari's family shouted in disbelief. His brother, Diane Henley, dropped his head into his hands, shaking, tears spilling down his arms. Deputies rushed in to quiet the crowd. Even through the video monitor, Big U sat motionless, his stare cold, unflinching, unreadable. But Walters wasn't done. His voice broke again as he continued, raw and trembling. Nipsey meant everything to us. He wasn't just a rapper, he was hope. When he died, we all blamed Big U. We blamed him for the beef, for the streets turning cold, for not protecting Nip. So when I saw Jabari that night, I thought I was doing what Nipsey would have wanted, balancing the scales. But I was wrong. Nipsey never wanted this. He was about peace, about growth, about building something real. And I destroyed that. As he spoke, parts of the courtroom dissolved into tears. Others sat frozen, shaking their heads. Some of Nipsey's fans muttered prayers, while others whispered that this confession finally revealed what many had believed all along. That Los Angeles had never healed from that 2019 murder. Walter's words hit like a bomb, exposing how deep the conspiracy theories had spread across LA's streets and social media since Nipsey's death. For years, rumors had painted Big U as the man behind the scenes, the supposed puppet master of South Central. But law enforcement had never connected him to Nipsey's murder. Eric Holder had already been convicted. Still, the internet refused to let go of the theory that Big U played a hidden role. Now, with this confession echoing through courtrooms and comment sections alike, LA was once again divided. Some said it was finally justice. Others said it was manipulation, a pawn taking the fall in a war that never really ended. And through it all, Big U's image flickered between monster and martyr, while the truth sat somewhere in the middle, buried beneath years of loyalty, fear, and revenge. During the trial, prosecutors painted a chilling portrait of how Deshaun Lil Price Walters spiraled into darkness. They showed the jury a disturbing trail of evidence. Hundreds of social media posts, private messages, and comments where Walters raged about Big U and worshipped Nipsey Hussle like a fallen saint. Every tweet, every post, every DM revealed a man who had lost his grip on reality. According to court documents, Walters spent hours every day in online echo chambers, drowning in conspiracy theories about the rap industry, shadowy elites, and gang politics. He was consuming pure poison. Videos, fake documentaries, and anonymous threads that twisted truth into obsession. Prosecutors said his anger grew sharper with time, turning into a mission for revenge that no one could talk him out of. Text messages recovered from his phone showed him talking to friends about how somebody gotta make Big U pay. He wasn't just venting, he was planning. Mental health experts later testified that Walters had become radicalized by the internet, a modern example of how online obsession can blur the line between fandom and fanaticism. His world had gotten smaller and darker. Friends drifted away, family stopped reaching out. All that was left were online strangers cheering him on, feeding him more hate, and convincing him that he was doing God's work for Nipsey. Prosecutors argued that this isolation transformed him into a self-made soldier of a digital war, one that existed more on YouTube and Reddit than in the real streets of LA. Despite Eric Holder's 2022 conviction for killing Nipsey Hussle, many in Los Angeles still refused to believe the case was truly closed. The streets stayed divided. Online, hashtags like Mayor Do It For Nipsey and Nader Dom For Nipsey flooded timelines, spreading the rumor that Big U had either orchestrated Nipsey's death or failed to stop it. Walters, prosecutors said, soaked up those lies like gasoline waiting for a spark. The prosecution's key witness, Dr. Ramona Martinez, a forensic psychologist, explained it in haunting detail. Mr. Walters didn't wake up one morning and decide to commit murder, she said firmly. This was a gradual process, an emotional infection fed by conspiracy videos, online gossip, and street narratives that made Big U into the villain of Nipsey's story. Over time, that became his entire reality. He believed he was chosen to balance the scales. Her testimony hit the courtroom like a thunderclap. You could feel the air change, because everyone in that room understood this wasn't just about one man's delusion. It was about a culture built on rumors, algorithms, and rage. When the verdict came down, Judge Maria Lopez didn't hold back. She sentenced Walters to 35 years to life and delivered a statement that sounded more like a warning to the entire generation. Her voice echoed through the silent courtroom. "This crime is a tragic manifestation of misinformation and misplaced loyalty," she said. Nipsey Hussle stood for peace, for entrepreneurship, for uplifting his community. To invoke his name while taking another man's life is the ultimate betrayal of his legacy. "You have not honored him. You have dishonored everything he stood for." The judge paused, her tone turning sharp, emotional, and almost trembling. "This court has seen countless acts of violence, but few as senseless as this. You killed an innocent man because of internet gossip and street rumors. You destroyed 2 families, and for what? Because you believed lies over facts. You turned a man of peace into an excuse for your own violence. That is not justice, Mr. Walters. That is murder, plain and simple." As the bailiffs led Walters away, he turned one final time toward Jabari's family. His eyes red, his voice breaking, he said softly, "I'm sorry to everyone, especially to Jabari's family. I was lost." The courtroom fell silent. No one clapped. No one yelled. The energy shifted into something heavier, a mix of grief, confusion, and quiet horror. The damage was already done. As the benches emptied, you could still feel the weight of it all lingering in the air, reporters whispered. Families hugged in silence. Outside, protesters clashed with fans holding Nipsey signs and Big U supporters demanding truth. It was chaos and heartbreak all at once. Another chapter in LA's endless cycle of pain. The case left behind questions bigger than the verdict itself. How did social media turn pain into propaganda? How did street loyalty twist into blind faith? And how did one city's legend become the reason for another family's tragedy? To understand how Jabari Henley's murder got tangled into Nipsey Hussle's legacy, how 2 destinies collided in a storm of loyalty, lies, and legacy, we have to go all the way back to where it started, the beginning of their bond. Eugene "Big U" Henley was a towering figure in South Los Angeles long before stepping into the music business. As a high-ranking member of the Rollin' 60s Crips, he commanded both respect and fear. But in the early 2000s, Big U began shifting his focus toward the music industry, founding Unique Records as a legitimate venture. His first major success came through Nipsey Hussle, born Ermias Asghedom in 1985. Growing up in the Crenshaw district, Nipsey was surrounded by gang culture and hip-hop. It was the air he breathed. As a teen, he showed raw talent as a rapper, but lacked industry connections. That's where Big U stepped in. According to Complex Magazine's retrospective, Big U became Nipsey's mentor around 2005, introducing him to producers, booking studio time, and giving him the street credibility that opened doors across LA's competitive rap scene. Their partnership worked perfectly at first. Nipsey got access and protection, while Big U gained a rising star to legitimize Unique Records. By 2008, Nipsey had dropped several successful mixtapes and was close to mainstream recognition. The relationship looked mutually beneficial. Big U acted as protector and business manager while Nipsey focused on his craft. In early interviews, Nipsey spoke respectfully about Big U's mentorship, crediting him for teaching him how to navigate both the industry and street politics. During that period, they were inseparable, seen together at events, in studios, and around Crenshaw. Big U's reputation gave Nipsey the freedom to move safely, while Nipsey's success boosted Big U's image as a man turning from the streets to business. They collaborated on multiple projects, with Big U handling business while Nipsey sharpened his music. Friends from that era described their bond as more than business. Big U treated Nipsey like family, and Nipsey often looked to him for personal and professional guidance. But by 2010, cracks started forming. According to several sources, tension rose over money, creative control, and the direction of Nipsey's career. The breaking point came in 2012, during what insiders now call the parking lot incident. According to a detailed Reddit thread and eyewitness accounts, Nipsey and his brother Black Sam confronted Big U in a Crenshaw parking lot. The argument reportedly turned heated, with Nipsey demanding release from his obligations to Unique Records. Big U felt disrespected. He saw Nipsey's decision as a deep betrayal after years of guidance and protection. The fallout wasn't just business, it became personal and ideological. In later interviews, Nipsey avoided calling out Big U directly, but made it clear he was finished with old systems of control. That confrontation symbolized more than a contract dispute. It marked Nipsey's declaration of independence. He wanted total ownership of his name, his music, and his destiny, while Big U believed he still deserved a place in that legacy. Based on his early support, in a 2013 interview with The Breakfast Club, Nipsey spoke cryptically about the split. "You gotta separate business from the streets. You can't bring both mentalities to the same table." That's when everything gets confusing. Fans saw that as a subtle jab at Big U, and soon, Their fallout became common knowledge in Los Angeles hip-hop circles. Around the same time, Big U quietly shifted gears. He launched Developing Options, a non-profit claiming to reduce gang violence by hiring at-risk youth for city-funded projects. However, the organization later came under scrutiny for alleged misuse of federal grants and questionable ties to city contracts, as detailed by the Los Angeles Sentinel. While Big U rebranded himself as a community activist, Nipsey doubled down on his independence. He founded All Money In, refused major label deals, and made history selling his Crenshaw mixtape for $100 per copy. A bold move that cemented him as a symbol of ownership and self-determination. Big U, once his mentor, was now left watching from the sidelines as Nipsey became everything he'd once aspired to be. A respected leader in both the streets and the mainstream. The fallout didn't stay behind closed doors for long. By 2016, whispers began circulating that Nipsey's success came with invisible strings attached, that he was still paying tax to certain Crenshaw figures for protection and local access. Multiple YouTube documentaries and podcasts hinted at an alleged extortion network connected to Big U's name. As Hot New Hip Hop reported, Big U's so-called check-in system for rappers and athletes blurred the line between mentorship and control. Rumors spread that out-of-town artists had to get clearance through Big U's circle to avoid problems with local sets. Several rappers and athletes were said to have paid protection money to move safely through specific Los Angeles neighborhoods. Though never proven in court until Big U's 2025 RICO indictment, the perception stuck, turning street legend into urban myth. The indictment later outlined a network of alleged intimidation and extortion targeting everyone, from small business owners to high-profile celebrities. Yet publicly, Big U maintained his image as a reformed figure. He spoke at youth programs, appeared on podcasts about gang intervention, and promoted himself as proof that a man could leave the streets behind. But the shadow of his past and his quiet power in South Central never truly disappeared. By the late 2010s, Nipsey and Big U existed in the same city, but lived in completely different worlds. Nipsey was holding meetings with city officials, promoting STEM programs, and reinvesting in his community. Big U was managing artists and expanding his influence in intervention work. Outwardly, they kept it civil, but those close to both told All Hip Hop News that behind the scenes, the wounds between them never healed. The tension between Nipsey and Big U was never an open war, but everyone in Los Angeles hip-hop could feel it. It lingered like static in the air, a quiet reminder of loyalty turned sour. People didn't talk about it out loud, but they all knew. So when Jabari "Baby Uiie" Henley was murdered on Halloween night 2025, the city's collective silence finally cracked. All those whispered theories and half-truths came rushing back, now painted as prophecy. Deshaun Walters' courtroom confession, "I did it for Nipsey," didn't appear from nowhere. It was the harvest of a decade's worth of gossip, lyrics, podcasts, and online debates that blurred the line between reality and myth. Every rumor that Big U had a hand in Nipsey's death became a brick in the wall that eventually boxed his son in. A former associate told LA Weekly, "The city turned them into symbols. Nipsey became the light, Big U became the shadow. You can't kill one without the other haunting you." That statement captured the spirit of Los Angeles, where loyalty and revenge are twin ghosts that never stop circling. Even now, murals of Nipsey stretch across Crenshaw Boulevard, and kids wear marathon hoodies without ever knowing who Big U was or how he once helped build that legacy. Those who lived through it remember the truth. Their loyalty was their bond and their curse. Jabari's murder wasn't just a tragedy for one family. It was proof of how powerful stories can become in the digital age. When rumor turns to religion, people start killing for faith in lies. Deshaun Walters didn't wake up one morning ready to kill. He was conditioned, fed on conspiracy videos, comment threads, and whispers that made Big U the villain in a myth he never wrote. What makes this case so haunting is how modern technology weaponized old street codes. In the past, beef stayed local, talked about in corners, alleys, and block parties. But now, a rumor can go global in minutes. The internet turned neighborhood politics into worldwide narratives, echoing in the minds of people who'd never even stepped foot in Los Angeles. Walters never met Nipsey Hussle. He never met Big U. He never met Jabari Henley. Yet through the warped mirror of social media, he felt connected to all three, like he was part of a legacy he had to defend. That's how fast fiction became duty. That's how the digital streets rewrote what loyalty means in the 21st century. Because the truth is never simple. Big U and Nipsey's relationship was complicated, built on mentorship, pride, and betrayal. Neither man was purely a hero or a villain. They were products of the same system, a cycle that rarely forgives, never forgets, and punishes anyone who tries to escape. In the streets, debts are written in blood, and loyalty isn't earned, it's tested. In one of his final interviews before Jabari's death, Big U told Drink Champs, if people knew what really happened, they'd know it was love. But love and pride don't mix good in the streets. That one line says everything. The tragedy that started in 2008 never ended. It just changed hands. When Nipsey died, his marathon didn't stop. It passed on to the next generation. And when Jabari was killed, that finish line blurred into something darker. A reminder that in Los Angeles, the race for legacy never ends. It only changes runners. Los Angeles will never forget their names, but it will forever debate what those names mean. For many, Nipsey Hussle represents hope, ownership, and the dream of breaking cycles. His Marathon clothing store became a beacon of Black economic empowerment. His push for STEM education was a blueprint for the youth to rise above the system, and his music became the heartbeat of perseverance for an entire generation. But to others, Big U symbolizes something different, the complicated truth about power, loyalty, and redemption. His story shows how hard it is to leave the streets behind, how survival skills that once made you powerful can later become your downfall, and how the same community that lifts you up can also chain you down. His journey is both triumph and tragedy, a reflection of what it costs to evolve when your past refuses to let go. For those caught in the middle of their quiet war, both men became mirrors of the same truth. That loyalty can be a weapon, that mentorship can turn to manipulation, and that in South Central Los Angeles, love and violence often speak the same language. Now the question is, will the next generation learn from these tragedies, or repeat them? Will they follow Nipsey's real blueprint of ownership and empowerment, or will they keep chasing ghosts of revenge and validation? Will they see Big U as a man shaped by contradictions and growth, or will they flatten his legacy into another villain in an endless street saga? These questions aren't just philosophical, they're life and death in LA. Because even now, young men in South Central are watching, listening, absorbing. Some see Jabari Henley's death as a warning about conspiracy and misplaced loyalty. Others see it as proof that debts in the streets are forever. And in that twisted logic, the cycle stays alive. Meanwhile, Deshaun Walters sits behind bars with nothing but time to think about what his actions truly accomplished. He didn't avenge Nipsey. He didn't bring justice. He didn't balance any scales. All he did was add another name to the city's long list of lost sons and tear another family apart. Because when the smoke clears, 3 families remain broken beyond repair. The Asgadoms, who lost Ermias, the man the world called Nipsey Hussle. The Henleys, who lost Jabari, a father and a son who carried both love and legacy. And the Walters family, who must live with the weight of knowing their son traded his life for a lie. In the end, the streets claimed them all in different ways, but the pain looks the same. Mothers crying, brothers grieving, children growing up without fathers. And somewhere out there in South Central, another young man is scrolling through his phone, reading old headlines, watching old interviews, deciding what kind of man he'll become. The only question left is, what lesson will he take from this? Will he carry forward Nipsey's dream of community and ownership? Or the same cycle of pride and revenge that's left too many bodies on the pavement? Because the marathon really does continue, but the direction it runs in, that's up to them. And maybe, just maybe, that's where Los Angeles can finally start to heal.